happened to a local woman overnight, and it ultimately sent her to the hospital. We're going to break down some of the terrifying details.
There's some changes to the forecast. We've been pouring through the numbers, and it looks like rain chances are not as great as they once were. We'll explain coming up.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
And a good morning to everyone out there as we get you into our 6 o'clock hour. Hopefully everyone's off to a great Wednesday. I'm RJ Marquez.
And I'm Patty Santos. Thank you for starting your morning with us. It is Wednesday hump day. We are getting you ready for your commute and of course for the rest of your day here. First thing you need to know is you might encounter a little bit of fog out there, maybe on your drive, maybe just a little bit.
And by the way, I was looking there at my desk, and I think I need to clean it off a little bit there on my shot. I was just noticing that there outside the show. But anyway, yes, maybe a little bit of patchy fog this morning. That is a possibility. Temperatures right now sitting at 52 here in San Antonio, 48 Stinson, 52 Converse, 49 Rio Medina, and 46 in Castroville. So the numbers are cool, but it's just not so cold, and certainly not as cold as it's been the last couple of days. And we're starting to see these dew points drift up towards that high temperature, or the current temperature, I should say. And usually when that happens, we start to see a little bit of fog. So far, so good, but we'll keep an eye on the visibility this morning. If we do see any fog, it'll be brief, not a big deal. 62 at 9 a.m., 10 a.m. 68, and then by noontime 76, 78 1 o'clock. 80 at 2 p.m., and then we're going to make it into the low 80s today, so it is going to be very warm for your Wednesday, but this is just the start of it, because temperatures actually climb from here, and we're going to see a really warm stretch by November standards. Also, the aurora. Did you see it last night? We got so many great pictures in on our KSAT Connect, so first and foremost, we'll share some of those. But do know that we're still under a G4 storm watch, and there could be another blast of activity that arrives later today, we think around midday, and there could even be some energy behind that. So with that in mind, the colors could, it's not a guarantee, but they could be visible again tonight if you want to try to catch them. The camera phone is going to be the best way to do that with that long exposure. And do know you want to get away from the city lights. But we'll talk more about all of this and that chance for the Northern Lights again coming up in just a couple of minutes. But let's get over to the traffic situation. RJ, your traffic authority, something going on out there?
All right, Justin. Yes, something is on the near northwest side in Leon Valley. We're going to check in with Alex in just a little bit. Real quick, want to give you your inbound drive times. 27 minutes coming in from Bernie on the far northwest side of town. Traffic not too bad there. 24 minutes coming in on the south side. That's our folks out there in Pleasanton. 28 minutes if you're coming in from 87 for all of our folks out in Lavernia and China Grove. So traffic actually not too bad if you're about to step outside on this Wednesday morning. We, of course, will continue to keep you updated on everything going on in our surrounding areas, but we do have this incident. This is going to be 410 eastbound traffic right before you get to Bandera Road at Evers Road. Look at that TransGuide traffic camera. You see that we are seeing some delays and some lane closures out there. So let's check in with Alex. He has been on the scene here over the past couple of minutes to give us the very latest from DriveCam. Alex, what can you tell us?
Yeah, good morning, RJ. And so most of those lane closures are going to be on the right side of the eastbound lane. So those right lanes are going to be blocked, and you can see the truck right here. It's kind of facing the wrong direction of traffic. So just know that you are going to have about a half a mile of a backup, again, 410 eastbound, and it's right in between Bandera and Evers Road over here, RJ.
All right, thank you very much. We will continue to track this accident over by Bandera and Evers Road, and also give you an update on the northeast side of town and northwest sides as we make your way through your 6 o'clock hour.
New this morning, we have been able to confirm that an 80-year-old woman is dead after someone driving in a car crashed into her while she was sitting on her front porch. Police say 80-year-old Janice Walker was sitting in the front of her east side home on DeFost when a driver lost control, slammed straight into her house. The impact left her with broken legs. SAPD tells us that the driver took off running, and officers are still looking for that person this morning.
One of our other top stories this hour, 9-year-old girl faces months of recovery after she was asked to drive a car and it ended up crashing it. Now, this all happened along Gossan Springs Road out near Tally Road in the Alamo Ranch area. The Bexar County Sheriff's Office arrested 25-year-old LaDeja Pickett. You just saw her photo there. She's accused of telling the child to get behind the wheel. Now, according to the girl's mother, they were decorating for Christmas when Pickett, who is a family friend, asked the child to move the car. The mother says that her daughter accidentally hit the gas instead of the brake, causing the car to spin out and throwing her from the vehicle before it crashed into a neighbor's truck.
She had no right to hand a minor keys. She had no right to put that car in reverse. Multiple times told LaDeja no. that my daughter didn't know how to drive, that she didn't know what she was doing, and she proceeded and said she was going to learn.
Now, the mother told our John Paul Barajas that her daughter has had 3 surgeries and faces months of recovery. Pickett is facing charges of injury to a child and endangering a child.
Defense attorney Nico LaHood says the 3 former SAPD officers found not guilty in the shooting death of Melissa Perez may consider legal action. LaHood tells KSAT the case against Nathaniel Villalobos, Alfred Flores, and Eleazar Alejandro was a mistake from the very start. Meantime, the San Antonio Police Officers Association is calling the case political. Union President Danny Diaz says the verdict highlights fear among officers who feel unsupported while doing their jobs.
And there was a lot of things done wrong that I'm not at the liberty to say right now. But we intend to do our best to hold people accountable based off what the law gives us.
And we wanted to talk with others who were involved in this case about this. San Antonio Police Chief William McManus was not available for an interview yesterday, and the DA's office was closed yesterday because of the Veterans Day holiday.
We have a KSAT Investigates update. A U.S. Congressman refusing to answer our questions about his alleged relationship with a staffer who died after she caught on fire.
The Bexar County medical examiner ruled the death of Regina Santos Aviles a suicide. She was a representative, Tony Gonzalez's regional district director in Uvalde.
That's right. And KSAT Investigates Daniela Ibarra has been asking questions about Santos Aviles' death for nearly 2 months now. Uvalde police and DPS have been investigating, but we haven't received an update just yet. Representative Gonzalez refused to address the death, only saying back in September that he was heart-stricken. Since then, he's avoided KSAT and other media.
And several outlets reports an affair between Gonzalez and Santos Aviles, which started in 2021. Now, we've reached out to him and family multiple times with no response. After Santos Aviles' death, KSAT and others were uninvited from a Gonzalez's event. Last week, his office invited us to a Veterans Day ceremony, our first chance to speak with him in 2 months. Daniela Ibarra caught up with him right before that event.
Congressman, my name's Daniela Ibarra. I'm with KSAT. We've been trying to get a hold of you multiple
It's Veterans Day. It's Veterans Day. I hope you're talking about veterans stuff.
I understand.
Are you talking about veterans stuff? If you're not, you should be talking about it. It's a beautiful Veterans Day here in San Antonio.
We've been trying to reach out to you multiple times to ask multiple media outlets have reported that you had an affair with Regina Santos Aviles. Is there any response you have to that?
We're here at Fort Sam. We're here at Fort Sam here at the ceremony. Please have some respect. Thank you.
I understand, but veterans fought for my right to ask you questions.
Hey, how are you doing?
As for the investigation into Santos Aviles' death, we asked for an update but have not gotten one. The city of Uvalde is fighting the release of records related to her death.
Well, KSAT is now hearing directly from Camp Mystic after the families of several of the young girls who died in the July 4th floods filed a lawsuit. It's at least one of 4 lawsuits that have been filed so far against that camp. In this one particular suit, families of 5 campers and 2 counselors allege gross negligence and reckless disregard for safety. Camp Mystic responding to all of this, saying, quote, "We continue to pray for the grieving families and ask for God's healing and comfort," end quote. Now, the camp's legal counsel also sent us a separate statement saying, quote, "We intend to demonstrate and prove that this sudden surge of floodwaters far exceeded any previous flood in the area by several magnitudes, that it was unexpected, and that no adequate warning systems existed in the area. We disagree with several accusations and misinformation in the legal filings regarding the actions of Camp Mystic and Dick Eastland, who lost his life as well. We will thoroughly respond to these accusations in due course," end quote. Now, the first lawsuit was filed by the parents of the Heavens 27 group. It claimed the camp housed girls in flood-prone cabins and failed to follow state evacuation rules, calling the deaths an entirely preventable tragedy. Hours later, another suit was filed by the family of Eloise Peck. That was an 8-year-old camper who also died during that horrific flooding. Now, both suits seek more than $1 million in damages. Camp attorneys say that staff did their best during this unprecedented disaster. Camp Mystic plans to reopen next summer with new safety protocols.
Now to a health alert. County leaders want people living in rural areas to be very careful when leaving pets outside. This warning stems from a total of 19 confirmed rabies cases in Bexar County. While most of those cases have been in bats, there have been 3 rabid foxes found on the north side. The Bexar County Health Department confirmed another fox with rabies was captured on Invitation Oak in the TPC Parkway in Bulverde Road area, making 3 rabid foxes within a 10-mile radius.
Watch your pets if you let them outside. Just kind of don't let them roam because they might get into a fight with an infected animal, and that could be an exposure as well. So just keep an eye on them, get them vaccinated. You know, for everyone's safety is the best.
So if you or your pet come in contact with an animal you think may have rabies, the CDC says wash any wounds with soap and water, call your doctor, and contact your local animal control. The Bexar County phone number is 210-335-9000.
All right, 6:09, let's get you to some of your morning headlines. The clock is ticking, and in just a matter of hours, the House is set to vote on a short-term bill to reopen the government. Overnight, the House Rules Committee rejected an amendment to extend health care subsidies that Democrats have been pushing for. But interestingly enough, 8 Democratic senators broke rank and supported the deal even without that extension. The Senate will vote on those subsidies next month. Okay, meanwhile, the U.S. Supreme Court is about to decide if the Trump administration has to pay full SNAP benefits, the food program that helps about 1 in 8 Americans buy their groceries. The administration already agreed to partial payments, but a recent court ruling says that full payments will be required. Today, the House is set to vote on that stopgap funding bill. If that happens, officials say that SNAP benefits could resume promptly.
Right outside with live cam at 610, 52 degrees, and we're still seeing clear skies, cool conditions this morning. This was the scene, though, last night. Incredible picture of the northern lights. Could we see them again? We'll show you some pictures and give you an update coming up.
So if you have chronic absenteeism of just 10% of your students, it could be about $100,000 in funding for the year.
Listen to this. 1 in 4 kids in San Antonio is missing school so much that it's hurting families, schools, and funding. Up next, Devin Karp shows us who's helping and what you can do and why it matters to everyone. Time right now, 6:14. A lot of kids are getting ready for school this morning. Well, this morning we're talking about how hard it can be to get your kids to school every day here in San Antonio. It is a big problem. A new study found that around 1 in 4 kids are missing 10% of the school year, and your kids' absences aren't just hurting them. Devin Karp explains how it's hurting school funding and where you can get help.
The new study from City Education Partners shows 1 in 4 kids in San Antonio are chronically absent, a problem that's nearly doubled since the pandemic.
Chronically absent is missing 1 in 10 school days, which is about 18 days. When you think about school being something like 8 or 9 months of the year, you're talking about 2 or 3 days a month. That's pretty serious. Studies show us that students who are chronically absent are more likely to drop out before graduating high school.
It's not just affecting education, it's affecting funding. Every day a student isn't in school, the district loses money. That's roughly $60 per student per day, according to the nonprofit. And when you think about big districts like Northside, Northeast, and San Antonio ISD, that can add up fast.
So if you have chronic absenteeism of just 10% of your students, it could be about $100,000 in funding for the year.
CEP says the schools that focus on community, building relationships, and working with nonprofits like United Way to solve medical and transportation barriers are already helping the problem.
When a student feels like a school is a safe place for them, a joyful place for them, it's somewhere they want to be every day.
If you want to see how your specific child's school is doing, you can read the report online and use this interactive website to check out results for yourself. I'm Devin Karp, KSAT 12 News.
All right, if you're a veteran looking for a new job, here's a hiring event for you. It is the Red, White, and Hiring You event tomorrow, and it's specifically for veterans, transitioning service members, and more. It's going to be at the Boeing Center at Techport, starting at 9 a.m. and going until 1 p.m. The address is 3331 General Hudnell Drive. Good luck to everybody out there.
Absolutely. Okay, so we're going to check in with Alex Gomez right now because he does have a crash in DriveCam that will be affecting your drive over by Bandera and, of course, the Leon Valley area. So let's check in with Alex, see how things are looking. How's it going, Alex?
Yeah, good morning, RJ. And right now, traffic is really building up quickly over here in Leon Valley. So 410 eastbound at Bandera Road, we do have this crashed truck right here, but we are in the clearing stages, and so we could get this cleared up pretty soon. But the right lanes are going to be blocked, and that's why we have traffic backed up 410 eastbound from Bandera Road all the way back past Ingram Road now, RJ.
Okay, thank you very much for that update, Alex. And let's bring us back out to the maps because I do want to show you a little bit of that backup that we're seeing right now. And as Alex just referenced, take a look at that shot. This is Bandera Road heading on the eastbound lanes of 410. So we're already seeing pretty good mild backup here for all of our folks. Give yourself about 15, 20 extra minutes if you're making your way through Culebra, Ingram Road. But hopefully we get some things cleared out because, as Alex just mentioned, starting to see a pretty good buildup of traffic there for our folks in Leon Valley. Quick check at kind of the northern parts of our area here in San Antonio. Just want to let some folks know we still have some overnight closures taking place 1604 East. That's going to be from Tradesman over to Vance Jackson for all of our drivers that are making their way to Northwest Military as well. And then the northeast side of town, not too bad. So some good news for all of our folks out there on both of our kind of normal busier sides of town. Okay, it is a Spurs game day, y'all. Yes, our San Antonio Spurs looking to go 9-2 to start the season. 7 p.m. tip-off against the Golden State Warriors. We got Steph Curry in the building, so expect some traffic. It's going to be very busy, especially during our rush hour period. 5 o'clock to 7 p.m. going to be kind of our main traffic times that we're going to be seeing here. East Houston Street, that's a good option to get you to the Frostbank Center. Of course, you could always take Frostbank Center Parkway. I-35 and I-10 are going to be very busy tonight. As you see right there, I try to do some type of Fiesta theme, Fiesta colors, because the Spurs will be debuting those brand new Fiesta jerseys tonight. So let's show you some video that we got of some of those new threads. Check that out. Look at that Wemby jersey. Looking good out there as we get the Fiesta colors. Got the teal, the turquoise, a little bit of the orange there as well. Pretty cool stuff here as the Spurs kind of give homage to the 90s Spurs. The court also will be different tonight, Justin. Spurs go, Justin Horn, our weather authority meteorologist.
Well, what's wild is the Aurora also produced Spurs Fiesta colors. Look at that, some pink just in time for the Spurs. Pretty good stuff. All right, if you missed it last night, the pictures were incredible. This is from Rock and Rod there in Divine, but we got a lot of good pictures on our KSAT Connect. Go check them out. Yes, we did see the Northern Lights last night, at least through our phone cameras. And you know what? We could see it again tonight. It's looking as though that's the case. We still have some energy coming in from the sun. Why does this happen? Well, we have solar wind. Heat and charged particles emitted by the sun travel through space. That's pretty normal. We have a magnetic shield around the Earth that protects us from that solar wind. But sometimes you get these stronger than normal emissions, and that's what we saw yesterday. It was 8 times what you would normally see. And when that happens, it interacts with that magnetic sphere around the Earth, and that's you get the particles, they get charged and they react to some of the gases there around the Earth, and that's where you get those northern lights and those beautiful colors. So we, again, are expecting that again tonight. There's a G4 storm watch, but there is even some talk that it could go as high as G5. It's not out of the question, and that would produce northern lights again tonight as far south as San Antonio, again, at least through your camera phone. So make sure and go check it out. It is such a cool event and a rarity around here, by the way. Outside right now, 52 here in San Antonio, 48 in New Braunfels, 52 Converse, 55 right now in Bernie. Light winds. We are keeping an eye on the possibility for some fog as humidity is starting to increase. Dew points right now are in the upper 40s and low 50s in many spots, but visibility looks good at the moment. If that changes, we'll let you know. I do think fog will be more of an issue tomorrow between the hours of 4 and 9, and then patchy again on Friday. So just know that could interact with your morning commute tomorrow. 62, 9 a.m., 72 at 11 o'clock, and eventually we're up to 81 for a high today. Extended forecast, a lot of 80s in this forecast. More clouds and just a very small chance of rain as we get into the middle part of next week.
All right. Look out for that fog this morning. Time right now, 6:21.
That's right. We're looking at 52 degrees outside coming up. The white picket fence, well, not everyone wants it just anymore. Why some young Americans are choosing investments over mortgages and how it could change what success looks like.
In this morning's GMA First Look, it's the new financial debate. Is saving for a home worth it?
It felt like the next best thing to do was to buy a home. Like that was the definition of success.
After Anita landed a job making $70,000 a year, first priority was buying a home. But after 2 years, she realized how expensive it is to compete with all-cash home buyers. So she decided to keep renting and put her savings into the stock market, setting a goal of retiring by the age of 45.
The time freedom that comes with early retirement is a lot more compelling than purely being a homeowner.
It's a calculus Ramit Sethi, author of I Will Teach You to Be Rich, says more young Americans might want to consider. And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll have expert advice for anyone rethinking their financial future. With your GMA First Look, I'm Elizabeth Schulze, ABC News, Washington.
All right, your pollen count. This was yesterday's. Bolts were low at 420. We'll have another look at today's count coming up here in just a couple of hours. We'll pass it along to you, and you can catch it on KSAT.com as well. Our Just Ask Justin question this morning has to do with the northern lights, of course. They were so beautiful last night. We want to know which two gases make the aurora borealis glow in shades of green, red, and purple. You see the 4 choices there. You can go vote, KSAT.com/polls, scan the QR code, and that answer comes your way in 30 minutes.
All right, I'm sure all of our science teachers are already answering and chiming in on that.
Talking about it in class.
All right, time now 6:26, 52 degrees outside.
She was handpicked to serve as a military instructor at Lackland Air Force Base, but an airman says a traumatic traffic stop led her to leave the state. Up next, what she did after she says officers held her at gunpoint.
A San Antonio police officer arrested for injury to a child. We're going to tell you some of the startling details and also let you know how many officers have already been arrested this year.
Educators are the first line of defense when it comes to reporting child abuse and neglect. I'm Patty Santos on GMSA. We're going to take a look at the numbers for the first few months of the school year and what happens now during the holidays.
Did you see it? The colors were beautiful last night. We had the aurora as far south as Texas. Coming up, we're going to show you some pictures and explain why we saw the colors that we saw.
Live from KSAT 12, Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
And it is a beautiful Wednesday on this November 12th, Patty. Good morning to everyone out there.
Hey there, good morning. I'm Patty Santos. We are getting you ready for your day, for your commute. The sun comes up in about 30 minutes, Justin.
Yes, it does. And by the way, I'm excited about those new Spurs Fiesta colors. RJ's going to talk more about that later. I think Patty's wearing pink in honor of the Spurs
The Aurora Borealis.
And the Aurora Borealis. Just lots of colors to talk about this morning. All right, let's first start with the sunrise and sunset, though. The sun is on its way up. It'll be up 6:56, sunset at 5:39 for 10 hours and 42 minutes of daylight today. Bus stop forecast. If you're heading out the door right now, kids may want a light coat this morning. It's cool, but not cold. Certainly not like yesterday. We're at, in the low 50s, so we'll start off around 52, 53. Maybe some patchy fog, but then up to 81 for a high today. So it will be quite warm during the afternoon hours. Dew point trend. We're already starting to see humidity increase a little bit this morning. In fact, you may find some dew on your car, stuff like that. But humidity will be much higher as we get into the weekend. It'll turn sticky, and it will be very warm. And yes, we're going to share some of those KSAT Connect pictures of the aurora. That's so cool, and we will have another opportunity to see it tonight. More on those details in just a few minutes, but let's get you out the door and on the road. Traffic Authority, the latest there.
All right, thank you very much, Justin. And we start your 6:30 half hour with a look at our inbound drive times. 27 minutes coming in on 90. That's going to be for all of our drivers on the far west side, coming in from the Castroville area. 20 minutes coming on 281 south down from Bulverde. Traffic is looking not bad there. 28 minutes coming in from New Braunfels. So not seeing too many delays on the northeast side of town, but we are seeing a pretty good backup right now over by Leon Valley. Let's zoom in on that. 410 Evers Road. Been dealing with this crash that we've been tracking for about the past 25, 30 minutes or so. You see the traffic already built past Ingram Road as we have a vehicle that was involved in one crash out here, 410 eastbound at Evers Road. Let's check in with Alex right now for the very latest on the ground. He is with us in Drive Cam on this Wednesday morning.
Yeah, good morning, RJ. And the backup's so long because this crash has been here for almost an hour now. So 410 eastbound, you are going to have those right lanes blocked right over Bandera Road, and the backup is now reaching really close to Culebra Road now this morning, RJ.
Okay, thank you very much. We will continue to track that accident and also give you an update as traffic starts to build on the northwest side of town in just a few minutes.
Time right now, 6:32. San Antonio police officer on administrative leave while facing 3 felony counts of injury to a child. SAPD says Officer Jacob Ryan turned himself into the Bexar County Sheriff's Office after a warrant was issued for off-duty incident from 2024. Now, in-court records obtained by KSAT show that Ryan is accused of hitting the same juvenile 3 different times last year. He has since been released from custody. According to KSAT Investigates analysis, Ryan is the 8th SAPD officer arrested in 2025 and the 2nd officer arrested this month alone.
And this morning, we are still working to learn whether a Runge ISD employee, you see her right there, still has a job after she was released from jail. The Karnes County Sheriff's Office says that Andrea Melba Rodriguez was taken into custody on Monday after she confessed to having a relationship with a student. So this all happened at one of the district's middle schools. The Sheriff's Office there says that additional charges could come on top of the tampering charge that she's already facing for destroying evidence. We reached out to Runge ISD to see if Rodriguez is still employed with the district, but have not heard back yet.
I would say a majority of our intakes come from school personnel. They are the ones that see the majority of our children, anywhere from 4 or 5 days a week.
School staff and educators are a vital part of protecting kids in our community from child abuse and neglect. Get this, the number of reports made to the state increases every summer when kids return to school. But what's happening now that our kids are getting ready to go on holiday vacation? The Texas Department of Family and Protective Services reported a 14% decrease in the report of child abuse in November of last year. They expect a similar decrease as kids leave the classroom and are not around adults as much during the November, December, January timeframe. This is why they're counting on community members, neighbors, church volunteers to pay attention to the sign of child abuse and neglect and to report it.
You don't have to be a professional to see when a child's behavior changes, or to see when they have drastic mood changes, to see when their appearance changes, or even if they start talking about things that are concerning. Malnourishment shows up in maybe dull hair, your skin isn't looking as fresh, or even sunken eyes. And so those physical changes also, not only the behavior changes when you have a child that goes from being a very loving, a very attentive child, a very talkative and engaging child, potentially to one that maybe backs away.
Listen very closely. Look for unexplained injuries in odd places, explanations that are not consistent with those injuries. Look for a lack of personal hygiene or unaddressed dental or medical needs. And if you suspect a child needs help, report it to the Texas Abuse Hotline, that number 800-252-5400. Caseworkers say it may be that a family is undergoing financial stressors and they can step in and connect that family with some assistance.
6:36 on your Tuesday morning. While she was handpicked to serve as a military instructor at Lackland Air Force Base, but an airman says that a traumatic traffic stop led her to leave the state. Her name is Joy Hebron. She's suing San Antonio police after she says that officers held her at gunpoint. Records show that the stop happened back in July of 2024 near Loop 410 and Babcock Road. She was heading to work. The stop, which lasted just minutes, has had a lasting impact on Hebron's life.
I've been on 8 deployments in my career and never had anything like this happen overseas. So for it to happen on U.S. soil, of course, it was like the rug was swept underneath for me. It was like a gut punch.
While Hebron's case is making its way through the legal system, tonight on Wednesday's Night Beat, KSAT Investigates reveals the mistakes that officers made.
Listen to this. Texas is seeing a big jump in whooping cough cases, more than 3,500 so far this year. And we're still not even done with a busy season. State health leaders say that is the highest number in more than a decade. Experts blame a drop in vaccination rates and say the best way to stop the spread is to get protected. Whooping cough is especially dangerous for children, and while it tends to surge every few years, this year's spike is much worse than usual. A mom in Brazoria County, south of Houston, is demanding justice after her autistic son was slammed to the ground by his teacher last month. Surveillance video shows the incident and the boy was injured with a fractured ankle. She says the school fired the 2 teachers involved, but she's not satisfied and is looking for legal options. Her son has not gone back to school since that incident. President Donald Trump is defending the United States' need for skilled foreign workers. During an interview with Fox News, the president said the U.S. does not have enough talented workers to fill jobs domestically. Now, when pressured that the U.S. does have the talent, Trump disagreed. The president, and despite this immigration crackdown, the president says the H-1B visa program helps fill a void and allow skilled workers to come into the country. In September, however, Trump signed an executive order that requires anyone wanting an H-1B visa to first pay $100,000 in application fee. The Mega Millions jackpot is nearing $1 billion. There were no tickets that matched all 6 numbers during last night's drawing. That means the jackpot prize, get this, $965 million. It is still up for grabs. The next drawing will be this Friday. The last time someone won the jackpot was on June 27th.
Right outside with Hive Cam, 638, 52 degrees this morning. We're seeing the sun starting to come up in a beautiful sunrise. Not as cold this morning. Will we see any rain in the forecast? I got to tell you, it's limited, but not all hope is lost. We'll show you where we may see some rain coming up.
All right, and we're also tracking the traffic situation over on the far northwest side of town. Seeing some delays for all of our folks making their way 1604 north headed towards Braun Road. Give yourself about a 15-minute head start if you're headed on that area. We're going to check in on the northeast side coming up in just a bit and give you an update on that accident at 410 at Evers Road.
Whose images are being used to lure in unsuspecting people.
Listen to this. Imagine seeing your face on dozens of fake dating profiles for 15 years. One man says scammers kept stealing his identity to fool women online. The shocking scope of romance scams and why they're so hard to stop. That's coming up next.
6:43 on your Wednesday morning. Let's talk about this. Romance scams online. Imagine someone making a fake social media profile using your pictures. As Victor Oquendo reports, imagine that happening over and over again for 15 years.
This is so rampant, not just with my photos, but with other people too.
When California fitness trainer Scott Cole scrolls through social media,
this was me in France.
The 63-year-old says he often sees his own profile photo being used in bogus profiles.
Waterford, Ireland.
Cole says this has been happening for more than a decade on multiple sites.
Here my likeness was being used to do something really awful.
Cole's one of thousands of Americans affected by online romance scams. The FBI reports $50 billion in losses from similar schemes between 2020 and 2024.
There are a number of people that I've talked to directly whose images are being used to lure in unsuspecting people.
One of those people fooled by a Cole impersonator was Jennifer Lisa.
I was skeptical in the beginning, but his profile was very, very large.
Soon, Lisa built an online relationship with the imposter using Cole's photos. But when the man said he needed money in connection with his job, she got suspicious. She did a reverse image search online and realized someone was pretending to be Cole.
There really is no end in sight for someone like him, because the people who have the power to make this stop are not going to make it stop.
After ABC News reached out to TikTok, it took down 4 fraudulent profiles using Cole's photos. LinkedIn told us it proactively detects and removes fake accounts. Meta did not get back to us.
I'd love for technology to catch up and help stop this from going on.
Victor Oquendo, ABC News, New York.
Time right now, 6:44. Did you know that just under 200,000 people die every year from preventable medical errors? A local woman developed a device that she hopes is a solution, and it is so simple. Elizabeth Freeman is the founder and CEO of Safin. Her company created a brightly colored plastic tags that snap onto IV lines. The idea is to clearly label the names and types of medication flowing through the lines using words, shapes, and symbols. Right now, Freeman says there's no uniform system for that.
So in 50% of the facilities, there's nothing used at all.
No labels at all?
No labels at all. Some people, this is a nurse workaround. 58% of medication errors with IV lines is due to line labeling confusion.
And this photograph right there that you're seeing right there on your screen is an example of something that is called spaghetti syndrome. That refers to a chaotic mess of wires, cords, and IV lines that can sometimes be connected to just one patient. And as you can imagine, it can be confusing and time-consuming to trace each line back to its source to identify it. It's what Freeman hopes her product can fix. And you can read more about Safen on KSAT.com.
All right, 646. Again, let's get you updated with your traffic authority. And as promised, taking a look at the northeast side of town, traffic's starting to build a little bit right here over by Topper Wine, past Pat Booker Road, Live Oak Universal City area. But again, no major delays. This is some great news for our folks out here northeast side of town. Still want to give yourself about 10 extra minutes. And we are seeing to see just a little bit of traffic build up there, 1604 over by Lookout Road. Real quick check of the situation in the downtown area. We are seeing a bottleneck right here. This is downtown at the Y. You can see that both directions of 35 starting to see some backup for all of our folks making their way from Martin up to McCullough. St. Mary's actually not too bad right now. I-10 and Frio is going to be our biggest delay, about a 20-minute delay to get from Culebra down to the 10 at the Y area. Let's check in with Alex right now. He's been monitoring, tracking the very latest out there in Leon Valley, 410 and Bandera. Alex?
Yeah, and it's all good again for that area, RJ. That scene has cleared, so those right lanes are going to be back open on 410 eastbound for our drivers right there at Leon Valley, RJ.
Okay, thank you very much. And coming up during our next traffic report, we will give you your Spurs game day traffic forecast coming up in just a little bit.
Okay, this next story is not just a recall alert. It's about infant health and safety.
That's right. The company ByHeart, which makes organic baby formula, is recalling all of its products because they could be linked to a botulism outbreak. So let's kind of detail this for you. The Food and Drug Administration says that since August, at least 15 babies across 12 states, including right here in Texas, have been hospitalized after consuming ByHeart's powdered infant formula. Now, to be clear, no deaths have been reported, but parents who feed their children this formula are concerned because botulism can be life-threatening.
It is a bacterial infection that can lead to muscle paralysis and affect breathing and other parts of the body. Now, with babies, it is even more delicate because they can't explain how they're feeling. So we spoke with Dr. Sabrina Perkins. She's a pediatric emergency medicine physician at Christus Children's, and she explained what parents should look out for.
If the baby's been exposed to this particular formula, and they're seeing any symptoms that show that the baby seems weaker, a weaker cry, a weaker suck, difficulty feeding, most definitely difficulty breathing would mean you absolutely need to seek medical care immediately.
The Center for Disease Control says at least 2 babies in Texas have been hospitalized in this botulism outbreak.
All right, let's get you another picture from KSAT Connect from last night's Northern Lights. This was actually from San Antonio, and this is what most of us saw. If we were on the outskirts of the city, we got away from some of the city lights. You could just see that faint pink color in the sky, and that's with your phone. It has longer exposure, so that's kind of how we have to see it. We're not going to really see it with the naked eye. But I'll tell you this. There is still more energy headed towards Earth. It could even be a little bit stronger. Now, we can't say that for sure, but I do think you'll have another opportunity to see these tonight. So get the camera phones ready to go. It could be another great night for this. And yes, there is more energy headed our way. We're still under the G4 storm watch, and it's entirely possible that this stronger version could produce maybe even better colors tonight. It's not out of the question. So yes, please be ready at just a very cool to see that all the way down here. Outside right now, we've got 52 degrees, 49 in New Braunfels, 52 in Converse, 52 Bernie. It's a mild morning with light winds. We were expecting a little bit of patchy fog. So far, that has not materialized, so no issues there. 68 at 10 o'clock. By noontime, 76, 80 at 2 o'clock, and then a high temperature of 81 degrees today, so it will be warm and even warmer going forward. We're expecting mid-80s Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so expect some well above average temperatures and some humid conditions too, I might add. That upper level low that we were hoping would bring us some rain is now looking much, much weaker and moving further to the north, which pretty much takes rain out of the picture for us. The one exception is as it moves east, it does push a boundary down into Texas. So in theory, along this boundary, as we get into Tuesday and Wednesday, there could be some showers and storms. But that will really hinge on where that boundary sets up. So stay tuned. Right now, we're just going to put in a 20% chance of rain in the forecast. The weekend now completely rain free, but it is going to be warm, as I said. Plenty of warmth and a lot of humidity all the way into early next week. All right, our Just Ask Justin question this morning was about the Northern Lights. Here's what I wanted to know. Which two gases make the aurora borealis glow in shades of green, red, and purple? Your choices were oxygen and nitrogen. We did get some votes for oxygen and carbon dioxide. In fact, oxygen, carbon dioxide, hydrogen and helium, and neon and argon all split the vote there at 13%. But the clear winner is oxygen and nitrogen. What say you guys?
Well, I went with D, but I'm not very confident now that I see where everybody else voted.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going with the viewers, and a big shout out to all of our chemistry and science teachers out there teaching our kids the periodic table of elements.
Yes, well, yes, the audience, per usual, is correct. It is oxygen and nitrogen. Now, oxygen, the sky glows different colors thanks to these two gases colliding with the sun's charged particles. Pink and red are developed at higher altitudes with the oxygen, while green occurs at lower altitudes, mainly due to oxygen. So the green's more just oxygen. The reds and purples are more oxygen and nitrogen. If you were curious.
What you said. I'll go with that.
It's a lot on a Wednesday morning. Yeah.
Sounds like a Science with Sarah experiment.
Yes, it does. It sure does.
All right, thank you very much, Justin. Coming up on GMSA Plus, we got a fan favorite. The McRib is making its way back onto the menus, but why some fans are not McLoving it on this morning, that and much more coming up later on GMSA Plus during our Money Matters segment.
Welcome back. It is 6:55. We got temperatures sitting right at 52. We'll be somewhere in the low 50s this morning, maybe a little bit of patchy fog, but for the most part, sunny skies and warm temperatures. 81 is where we end up later today. 84 tomorrow, 84 Friday, 84 Saturday. Yeah, plenty of warmth and humidity going into the weekend, and unfortunately, no rain chances now. Only a very small chance, RJ, on Tuesday.
All right, that is right, Justin. Taking a quick check at your traffic authority. Stop and go traffic, I-10 eastbound due to construction over by Frio Street. So give yourself about 15, 20 extra minutes. You're coming down from the near northwest side of town. Everything else is accident free for the most part, but do want to remind our folks, it is a Spurs game day. Things are going to be very busy around East Houston Street, the Frostbank Center Parkway, 35 and 10. Tip off at 7 p.m. The Spurs are going to unveil some brand new jerseys, the Fiesta jerseys, as we get set to take on the Golden State Warriors. GMSA Plus will be right back with all your news, traffic, weather coming up in just a bit.